Thanks for joining us on this nice Friday today. So today we're going to start to cover the new stuff that was shipped with CRM 2016 Spring Wave, otherwise known as SP1 for those of you on premises. So we're going to get right into it. So my name is Mitch Milam. I am a Dynamics CRM architect. I'm an independent consultant and trainer, also a 10-time MVP for Dynamics CRM. If you have any follow-up questions or need some ideas about where to go next, just email me at mitch@xrmcoaches.com. My main blog right now is infinite-x.net. And, of course, I'm on Twitter at Mitch Milam. So I'd love to hear what you have to say today. And thanks again for joining. A little bit of housekeeping here. This is being recorded. It will be uploaded to YouTube later today, and I'll send everybody a follow-up email with information we talked about today, mainly the link, and there's a couple of links to Microsoft websites to get into more detailed information about that. So that'll go out later today or tomorrow, depending on my my link between go to webinar and click dimensions. As soon as it gets into CRM and everybody's there, I will email it. Feel free to ask questions during this. We have a Q&A session at the end, of course. But if you want to ask a question, just put your hand up. Either enter it into the question box or put your hand up with the little item there on number B, and we will open the mic up so you can talk. So Jeffrey says no audio. Test, test, test. Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Jeffrey Smith, I guess that's just you. Everybody else says I'm okay. Great. Thanks, everybody. Have you worried there for just a second? Okay, so Jeffrey, something to do with your connection, I guess. Okay. Future events. So next Friday, I have a webinar for Power BI with Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Now, I'm going to admit this is a horribly deep topic. This is an introduction, okay? So we're not going to get, could be a full day, 2-day class. So we're just going to get into the basics of how to connect Power BI to Dynamics CRM. It's a really exciting technology. I can't wait to get into it and show it to you guys. So it'll be really cool. Next week, I am starting a workshop for Dynamics CRM processes. So this is a little bit different than what I've done in the past. This is actually going to be like a college course. So we're going to meet once a week on Tuesdays, either the 10 a.m. or 6 p.m., depending on which session you want. We start on the 21st. We'll meet once a week for 5 weeks. Registration ends tonight at midnight. So if you want to learn everything you need to know about processes, today is the day to sign up. The link is tinyurl.com/June CRM processes. So if you go to that link, you'll get it for more information about what's on the course. And if you have any questions, then again, feel free to email me at mitch@crmaccelerators.net. July, I'm still working out the schedule for my webinars. That's right in the middle of vacation season for me and everyone else. So I'm trying to kind of coordinate all that. So we'll have at least 1, maybe 2 webinars. Haven't got the topics out yet, but that will be coming soon. So keep an eye out for that. Here is my training roadmap. Again, continue to do webinars. If you haven't signed up for KnowledgeBase, you should do so. So there's several different channels I have, from development to administration to training. So those are be delivered to you via email once a day until it runs out. Some have just a handful. Some have 20 or more. Learning plans I have actually coming soon. I had a PowerPoint crash yesterday. I did fix that. I have several learning plans out there available for JavaScript and a thing called Fun with Fields. Working on some practice tests and some on-demand video training, as well as some new instructor-led training. And then my goal is to get the 4 books you see in front of you finished by the beginning of August. So that is my goal there. About halfway done with 2 of them, and the other 2 just have to be kind of rounded out. So keep a watch out for those. Okay, so what we're going to cover today is what's new for end users, what's new for administrators and customizers. We're going to open CRM up and kind of take a tour around of several of the things. And then we're going to have not Q&A, but Q&Q. So questions and questions, okay? I'm not going to answer anything. I'm just going to let you ask, and you can just answer to each other. So I'm just kidding there. That's a typo, of course. Okay, what is new for end users with Dynamics CRM? 2016 Spring Wave. Let's go into productivity. So one of the things you'll notice about it is when you first open it up, it will actually pop this thing out on the right-hand side. If it's not popped out, there's a little question mark with a little kind of a call out thing. And what this is what they call a learning path, which is it is a system called guided learning. So depending on where you are on the site, what page you're on, it will actually pop up relevant data or relevant help topics or guides that will walk you through a process. So that's brand new to Dynamics CRM 2016. We can have connections to Office 365 groups. So I haven't actually played with this a whole lot, but it is built in now. You can actually manage the groups from within CRM itself, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. You can have it now automatically create groups for things. The project service module, project team members can all automatically be added. You can also delete a group and move it around, things like that. So if anybody has anything to add to that when we get into the Q&A part or the demo part, I would love to hear what you guys have experienced with this. This is what it looks like within CRM. So this is my demo account here, and I've just connected a group to AdventureWorks, the account. And you can see I've got a calendar and some conversations and notebooks and documents. So this, again, is shared with the Office 365 groups. So this looks really cool. I haven't had any time to play with it at all. But if anybody has anything, I would love to hear it. Okay, email signatures. So this is something that's been missing forever, quite honestly, but we now have the ability to define our own signatures and use them within the email editor within the web client itself. It also said that you could specify a default signature for a queue, but for the life of me, I could not figure that out anywhere, and I looked everywhere I could think. So I'm not sure how that's actually done, but if anybody has any ideas, let me know. Maybe that's just a feature that didn't get surfaced or something like that. But you can define multiple signatures, and then you can use them with your own stuff. This is the interface. So as you can see, it's in your personal options, and we now have an email signatures tab. And we just click the new button. It's just like Outlook. It's just a HTML box. You type in whatever you want and save it. And as you can see, we can have more. And then whenever you go to install it or to add it, you can just pick the one you want. So multi-entity search. This is a preview feature. It does not seem to be in the org that I am using today. I'm not sure why, but it should have been, but it's not. So I'm not really sure if that was a version difference to where I opened it I created it a little bit too early, and the feature is not inside of this org. But we have a new multi-entity search that is going to replace the existing, basically the cross-entity search, which is now going to be called categorized search. So again, I don't have anything to show you in this because I couldn't do it. But the idea here is, it looks like it will show it to you in a single list that's categorized based on the entity type, instead of having the way it works right now with categorized search. You'll have a group of accounts and contacts and opportunities, whatever it might be, displayed in different lists. So this actually displays it in a single list. So that's going to be kind of exciting. And it does use a different search technology. So that's one thing to think about. So let's talk about service. So we have two additions that came from the purchase of the Field One company last fall. So right before the MVP Summit in November, they purchased a company called Field One. Field One has this field service component that they built called Field One Sky. It's built into Dynamics CRM. On top of Dynamics CRM, utilizes Windows Azure. They use Resco for the mobile component, and it's really from the ground up built to work for a field service organization. And what we've done recently, or what Microsoft has done recently, is they've extracted out two components and create them as their own solutions that you can actually install right now as a trial. Now, you have to have the Spring Update to actually have the trials available to you, but I know that for a fact that the trials are being scheduled right now. I think they started a couple weeks ago, and I know, I think I've got mine are scheduled for a week or two. I scheduled another customer for, I think, last weekend. I haven't actually checked to see if installed. But once you get the Spring Update installed, you can access the project service and then field service. So this is what the project service, this is one of their marketing slides, just kind of put everything together. So lots of dashboards. We actually have a Gantt chart that allows us to actually schedule projects like you would in Microsoft Projects. So that's really cool and wonderful. So it's all done within CRM. Again, it's just a solution that gets installed. So that's pretty cool. So you can have project-based contracts, you can do project planning and resource management, manage your time and expenses, and actually billing all within the project service section. And like I said, we'll cover that here when we get to the demo part at the end. Field service is the larger component of this. And again, this was an entire package that Microsoft has taken and put into CRM. So there are lots of pieces to it. Some of them are actually, there's a built-in scheduling module that's an add-on that will help you do real-time scheduling of your field service personnel if you get into it. Again, this is just a screenshot showing where people are and things like that. I don't have a lot of, in fact, I don't have any demo data, but we'll cover it in the thing. But anyway, if you're doing field service, this is a really comprehensive package. They have a lot of training. It probably take you about 3 or 4 days, depending on how much time you want to get into it, to actually go through all of the training itself. So there's a lot of training. It's like I said, it's a very, very comprehensive package. And if you're doing field service, it's definitely worth a look. So part of the field service, we have the ability to do characteristics and proficiency ratings. You have a detached schedule support, a lot of out-of-the-box business processes, and again, the mobile enhancements are using the Resco mobile engine. So that's all really good. So everything is connected mobile, and then you can basically, the field service techs actually have the app on their phone or their device, and they can actually do check-ins and stuff like that, and it will do tracking and things. And also the way that it's connected, if you have some of the dynamic scheduling stuff built in, that there's the add-on, the way it would work is it actually tells them where to go next. So they literally go somewhere, and then after they get done, they say, I'm done here, and it will tell them, okay, you need to be down the street 5 miles. And that's just a way that you can keep your people as efficient as possible, where they're not always having to kind of wait around for people to tell them what to do, or have a list that constantly changes during the day, so they can be available when and where they're needed. Another purchase that Microsoft did last fall was the purchase of ADX Studio. They make the portals, I think, as probably everybody knows. So they have a custom portal, customer self-service, employee self-service, a community, and partner. These are different types. And again, these are all now built into the product. As far as I know, there is no charge for this stuff now, since they own the technology. So this is the same stuff that ADX has been selling for years, 100% integrated into Dynamics CRM. In fact, it's a website you build up, ASP.NET, and then after you build it up, everything about the site is stored inside CRM, everything, from the logins to configuration of the pages. So if you get into portals, have a little bit of a developer experience on you, this might be something for you to check out. SLAs. If you have used SLAs with cases and things like that, you can now put those in custom entities. So any new custom entity, you can apply an SLA to it. It's just a checkbox when you create it. In addition, you can add it to any of the activities, with the exception of recurring appointments, and then account, contact, invoice, opportunity, quote, lead, and order. I haven't used SLAs much. I don't have a lot of customers who are actually using the service module, quite honestly. So I'm not really deep into it, but if anybody wants to share some of their experiences when we get to the end, I would love to hear them. That'd be great. Interactive Service Hub. I did a talk a couple weeks ago about this. So they've added a few things, the most of which is you now actually have a navigation item on the sitemap of CRM, so you don't have to have a secret specific URL to get to the Interactive Service Hub. So that's now on the settings area. Again, you can apply SLAs to cases and custom entities. You can actually track progress of KPIs with a timer control that's built in. And then there's an ability to actually merge cases, which I think is really cool. And then there's some keyboard access for forms and dashboards and things. So again, just kind of keeping that moving along as well. So a few mobile enhancements. They've improved the offline experience. So you can now view, delete, and update data offline. For service reps, you can view, create, and edit, search for knowledge-based articles or knowledge articles, and then quotes and orders and invoices can be modified as well. They've also added a company news component, which is basically tied into Bing search. So it will actually go out and look for the company name, and this is just another tile on the or section on the mobile app, and I'll show that to you here in a bit with the desktop app. So analytics, again, we're talking about this next week, but they've added a new service content pack and improved the sales manager content pack by moving up to the new web API that shipped with CRM in 2016. So they've improved that because that's a higher level of connectivity. You can do more things. It's faster. They also can now embed Power BI tiles that you create directly into CRM dashboards. I haven't played with that, but I will before next Friday, and we'll see how we can make that work for everybody. So that's kind of a quick summary of what's available for users. Let's get into the administrator and customizer stuff. So there's a new thing called feedback and ratings. You set it on the entity itself whenever you create it, and it's just another checkbox here at the bottom under communication and collaboration. It allows you to actually, this is a secondary entity, so it's associated with the record. And what you do is you just open the record up and then click on the down arrow for the additional relationships, and then you get to the grid and then add this. So you can add basically what it's regarding, a rating, the rating for the item, and then a minimum and maximum. And then you can use this to kind of rate your stuff for customer service or whatever it might be. A couple previews we have available to us is product recommendations. So this ties into Azure Machine Learning, and it allows you to build a machine learning based recommendation model. And what this helps you do is, in the case of a salesperson, is hopefully or possibly cross-sell the customer with other relevant product recommendations. This is what Amazon does, by the way. If you've ever bought anything off Amazon, it's right before you check out, like, hey, did you know that this thing right here, other people bought that too? Or they'll email you a couple of days later, or it'll show up on Facebook, or it'll show up on a website that you happen to go to, and it's like, hey, by the way, did you know this is here? And so that's what all that is. It's basically it's an intelligence model that's based on historical transaction data, in other words, orders that people that they've collected, and then they analyze that. And then when you buy a product or you're looking at a product, they will show you other products that people have bought within the same kind of realm or category. Same thing with the knowledge base articles. So they've tied into the Azure Machine Learning text analytics. And what that's going to do is look for things in your case that match other cases that are already solved or other cases, and give you suggestions, you as a customer service rep, saying, you know what, this article, this case you're working on actually looks like this article over here that may be the solution. So the idea here is, instead of the service rep having to actually page through or do a search for those things themselves, the Azure Machine Learning text analytics can actually do that for you and give you the list of possible solutions that are relevant to the issues within your case. So I haven't plugged that in yet, but that looks pretty freaking neat. Okay, from an administrative standpoint, the Interactive Service Hub, we can now put iframes and web resources. We weren't able to do that. And I'm not sure if anybody of you came to my Interactive Service Hub demo, but this is a different application, and I'll show it to you in a minute. It's very, very similar. It uses the same engine as the mobile or the Windows 10 desktop app. So it's actually a different experience totally. So these are all changes that they're making to allow us to actually do stuff. So we can now configure lookup records to show filtered, lookup fields, to show filtered records. We can configure language filters for the knowledge base search, and we also have the SLA timer on the main interactive experience. So again, I'll show you the Interactive Service Hub if you haven't seen it already. It's a pretty interesting interface, and again, it's a totally different interface than the standard web client. So we'll take a quick run through that as well. The Unified Service Desk, I'm not sure people have used this, but we now have integration with Interactive Service Hub. It's now part of the Windows Update process, so we can actually download the components or updates to the Service Desk from within Windows Update. The demo packages now have new samples, and then they've built in some telemetry to send to Microsoft, and of course it's anonymous, about how it's being used and things to make them help make the product better. So I don't know if any of you are using Intune, which is Microsoft's application/device management system, but it's actually used to manage the mobile devices. So we now are built into that. So you can actually have your app managed by mobile application management without having to enroll the device into the program. There's some conditional access that's set up. Now, this is all Azure based, as most things CRM Online are. So a conditional access is how a company will direct how things should be set up within the application for people accessing it. So you can specify the system, the configuration conditions within the Active Directory group level. So you have to have the device enrolled in Intune or be a domain joined PC. You have to be registered in the the Azure Active Directory. It is compliant with SOCOM, so you can actually look at the policies for the device. And then when you hit a condition where the access condition is not met, the user will actually get a message saying either your device isn't installed or enrolled in Intune, and it will give you instructions on how to install it and enroll it. And then if it's a non-compliant device, they will just be pushed over to the Intune web portal where we'll give them advice about what to do next. So again, I'm not sure if anybody uses the mobile device management at this point with Intune, but this is all kind of coming. And the idea behind this is it allows you as a corporation to better control access to the data and information, because you think about it, a lot of people manage their phones from a corporate level, but not some of the applications on the phones, and it contains the same data. So that's the idea there. So if you are using the mobile devices, mobile or tablet applications, we now have a new button on the default solution called Prepare Client Customizations. So if you're familiar with that, when you first open the either the desktop Windows 10 app, the Windows Store app, or the mobile device app, the first thing it does is download all of the metadata and customizations from the server to a local storage area on the device. And that can take a length of time because it has to kind of prepare things. So what this is for is a button you push, and it will prepare a packet ahead of time that has all your recent customizations. So the workflow would be you make changes to your system, you publish all your customizations, click the Prepare Client Customizations. That will spend a bit of time preparing everything. And then what happens is when people are logging into their device the next time, it will tell them, hey, you've got an update. Would you like to download it? And then hopefully it will download and install faster. Okay. Organizational insights. This is another preview feature. This is a dashboard that shows you things like active users, reads, changes, total page requests, total operations. I use their stock thing because my org only has one user and there's no data. So actually, you know what this is? Sorry, this is my data. If you go out to their site, you can see a pretty picture with everything in it. There's another thing that I couldn't find. So I don't know if there's a couple things that everybody talked about in the documentation, but it's not on my org. I don't know if they haven't released it yet, or if it's just I got too early in the pipeline. There is a performance query load time feature that will analyze long-running queries and then allow you to add or remove query optimizations. So it's only on CRM Online. It's actually off of settings. And it allows you to identify these queries. It will add some optimizations, which I'm fairly sure are indexes. And then if they don't work out, you can actually remove those customizations. Hybrid scenario for CRM Online to on-premises with server-side sync. So basically, this is continuing the path of migrating people to the cloud with access to data either in the cloud or on-premises. So now we can actually, as you can see from the arrows, pretty much connect from anything to anything. So CRM Online to Exchange Online, CRM Online to Exchange On-premises, CRM On-premises to Exchange Online, etc. So we finally got, what's a big word? Equilateral? No. Somebody fill in the big word there. So basically, parity. There we go, parity. We finally have parity here for synchronizing our Exchange and our CRM, no matter which one is located in the cloud and which one is on premises. Okay, so this is a big win for a lot of people. There is a new app for Outlook. This is not the Dynamics CRM client for Outlook. This is a totally different thing. So this allows you to actually have, it's kind of a lightweight app, is what they call it. This is kind of an overview of how it would work. So it will actually allow you to plug it into OA. So you can actually have a CRM experience inside of Outlook Web Access to both read and compose email. If you're on Outlook 2013, you can read email but not compose. If you're on Outlook 2016, you can read and compose. And Outlook for Mac, we can only read, not compose. We finally are getting close to what my friend Shan calls polymorphism. So we have been asking for what they call a polymorphic field for a long time, and that means just more than one type. So there is a customer data type that has been inside CRM since it was created, and it allows you to create a lookup that can be either a contact or an account. So here's a sample here. I was adding a field called customer to the sample entity. The data type is customer. I specify the relationship type to the account. That's the name, sorry. The relationship name to the account and the relationship name to the contact. And it will actually create the lookup and establish the relationship links between all of those. And then when I go to select it, I can either select an account or a contact from the same lookup. CRM does this all over the place with its own entities, but this is the first time we've had this available to us, which is, just wonderful. The next step is what they call the regarding, which we have almost access to almost any kind of lookup. So that's the last thing. Once we get that, we're going to be set as developers and customizers. If you run the package deployer, and this is a tool, this is an SDK that allows you to actually package up your customizations and data to move into a new system, that now runs from the command prompt so you can automate it, is the main idea there. Fred asked about Power BI on-prem. We're going to talk about that next week, but the basic answer is it's in preview, if I'm not mistaken, Fred. Okay, let's go look at CRM here. Give me 1 second. Let me take a drink of water. Okay. First thing you know is the yellow bars have changed to green. No idea why, but they're all now green bars. And there's like 4 or 5 of them now pop up. So first thing first is we now have the learning plan over here. So I'm here. If I want to learn how to boost sales or deliver effective customer, or I want to buy it because I'm still in trial, I can do that there. Okay. I think if I go into something like an account, it'll show me something else. It's a tour. Whoops, sorry. There we go. Things. They've also got basically built-in chatting and things like that. So there's that. Ron asks, is there any way it says regarding field to multiple entities? No, Ron. Sorry, dude. Melinda asks, you mentioned the new mobile app having offline access. Is that for on-premises? Melinda, as far as I know, the mobile app is a mobile app. There is not 2 versions of that. So as far as I know. Brian asked about the customization of the learning paths. I don't know. I recall conversations about that, but to be quite honest, I don't remember if that was a plan feature or a feature. I truly don't know. With most things inside CRM, you can customize them. I think they were just trying to get it out the door. If you didn't know, like the standard help that was built into Dynamics CRM, you've been able to modify it for a very long time. And so you can do that. So I think it's on the roadmap, but I don't think it works in this first version. I think it's just the stuff that they shipped out. Debbie says, I have update 1 of 2016, but I'm not seeing the learning path. Debbie, if your version doesn't say 8.1, you don't have the right one. This is not 8.01, it's 8.1. because there was a previous update to this. It was 8.01. And Debbie, no, as far as I know, it's built, it's turned on by itself. I didn't do anything to do it. Pavlos, I don't know when portals V8 are going to be publicly available. I know they're working on stuff. So, okay. Ron says he has 8.1 and doesn't see it either. Like I said, I went through the list of stuff that was shipped, and I found all kinds of fascinating things that were supposed to be turned on, were not turned on. Now, this one's turned on, so as you can see. But there are other things that they mentioned that just were blatantly gone. So I don't know. I truly have no idea what's going on, quite honestly. I'm not sure if it's worthy of a support call or not. Okay, Luke says you have to opt in for it to show up. Okay. Luke, do you know where you have to opt in? Opt in under the gear. Oh, there it is right there. So maybe, hey, Debbie, go out to click on the gear, which is settings. See if there's a an opt into learning plan instead of opt out. Do you have an opt in? If so, that is it right there. Okay. All righty. Working as a team like that. Okay. Email signatures. So we go add an email. There's now a new icon over here on the right. And it says, select the signature. Select my signature. Inputs it in there. That's just cooler than you know what. So, I mean, I still don't use this to write emails with. I use Outlook for that. But, you know, this is cool if you're use the web client. I have lots of clients that don't use Outlook at all. Okay. Munir, what is that visualize button? Munir, that's a secret. I can't tell you. Which button? I'm sorry. We'll go back to account. This is the one that shows the hierarchy between accounts and stuff like that. You know what? Sorry, I was screwing around with this. This is the add-in. This is the add-in from Scott Giroux, the network visualizer. Sorry about that. That's what that is. That's a piece of custom code. It's free, by the way. So look up Scott Giroux. Develop1.net is his site. It's I can't remember what he calls it, but what you do, say if I go to City Power and Light. Sorry, I thought I'd removed all that custom stuff I put in, and you click on Visualize. It shows this thing here, which is just Scott's just way too smart. I'm just saying, you know, I wish I was that smart, but it's just freaky. So this is a visualization. His City and Power Light. It's the main account. I've got two other accounts. If I want to go to Coho Winery, I just click on this thing right here. And that opens up. Actually opens up the record. So yeah, so Scott is one, way too smart, and two, just has way too much time on his hands. So anyway, this is a really cool free tool. There's a couple solutions you install to do it. It does everything else. This is all written in JavaScript using the framework Sparkle XRM he created. So it's a really cool thing. Kind of helps you visualize things. You can see what it's doing. It's just kind of walking through the things. You got your accounts, your contacts, phone calls, things like that. So it's a pretty cool thing. Okay, let's see, where was I? Project service. Okay, let's go back to the top. Okay, all kinds of things added here. Project service adds just a tremendous amount of things. Like I said, the field service, the field one service module, I cannot really emphasize enough how big the thing is and how comprehensive it is. So it will take you quite a while to get a handle on it. But project service is just one module of that. So here I have just a sample module that I created. And it's a dynamic CRM entity. And that's because I clicked on the right one, sorry. So information about the customer, you can create templates that you're using, things like that. Here is information on the sales. So we have contracts and quotes and opportunities. We can specify team members and then their role within the project. Then you have a status. Okay, all kinds of fun stuff. If I go to my work breakdown, shows me my timeline. If you've ever worked with Microsoft Project, this is exactly the same thing right here. So here I've got a CRM 2015 upgrade, 2016. I'm going to spend 20 hours on analysis, 20 hours on plugin upgrades, 20 hours on JavaScript, a couple hours verifying the UI is not horribly screwed up and they did things correct. You know, if I needed to add another one, I can just add a task. So AT user acceptance, assign it to a team member. I'm going to put 10 hours on that one. I'm going to put 5 resources on it. Duration is 5. My predecessor is actually UI verification. And then I can actually specify the resources are going to do that if I had more than one. Save that. Notice it's linked in. So again, Gantt chart inside CRM web. Can you not believe that? Yeah, that's just cool. So I get excited over simple things because I'm old, and you know, shiny objects make me happy. So I apologize if it just drives you into a wall there. Okay, so there's that. Field service again. Pretty much the same kind of thing. Remember, this is a comprehensive package that takes care of everything. So we have work orders, we have a scheduling board, we can define assets, the agreements, purchase orders, all the things, RMAs. So these are all things that are built into, you know, field service. So the idea is you have a group of personnel that are going on site to do something. So that is probably in most cases a repair of some kind. A lot of times those repairs require things like parts, machinery, things like that. So you can do your work orders. Yeah, Debbie, as far as I know, these are part of CRM now, so they're free. There are additional components, like I mentioned, like there's that dynamic scheduling engine. That's an additional component because it runs on Azure and takes up bandwidth. So that's an add-on. I don't have zero knowledge of pricing because I don't sell anything. So but yeah, these are, as far as I know, these are free. Currently only in trial, so they're not actually for production, just for trying out. So your work order is very similar to that project that we worked on. So you got settings that you specify. Basically, here's a log of, you know, what's going on, just your standard administration. You can create your task for the service, specify any products or services that need to happen. And again, a lot of times you're taking things with you. You're doing a specific kind of service. So it lets you keep track of that. Your scheduling board, when it doesn't throw a JavaScript error. So we have generic resource is kind of the default. You know, somebody used to assign this, and then every user. I'm the only one in here, of course. But basically, this would have my schedule and show me where I was going to be. I also have a link to maps, so I can filter on different things. Remember, in field service, you know, field service to some people may be replacing a copier. To other people, we've got a hole in the bridge and we've got to fix the bridge right now. So that means we've got 10 people, 2 trucks, and a crane. So that's equipment, right? And then we can map out all these things, saying, okay, where are my things right now? And it will literally show you a map of, this is a Bing map, of course. It will literally show you where these things are within the map. Because sometimes, hey, you know, you get to the bridge and realize we don't have a hole, we have a crack, and now we need the big crane, Bob, the big blue crane, and Bob's, you know, somewhere else. Where the heck is Bob? And you can find him through this. Okay, Hassan want to know about the visualizer. It's just develop1.net, and I'll put that in the chat box for everybody. So anyway, so that's field service, project service. Let's go take a look at the Interactive Service Hub. The settings. It's now here under application. And again, this is a separate application than the web client, a totally separate application, as you'll see once we get into it. So if you didn't see this earlier with my other presentation from a couple weeks ago, go look that up on YouTube. It's actually quite fascinating. But the idea here is they took the mobile engine and they basically used it to create a new service portal. And that's all it's used for at this point is strictly customer service. So as with any of the mobile application engines, what it's doing is download the customization. So you'll see this every time that every user will see this at least once. And if you don't have many changes, then you won't have this stick up that long. Okay, so we have several built-in dashboards, as you can see here. Slightly different way of doing things. We have a new type of chart. I like this one pretty well because let's see, I want to see the high-profile cases that came in on Twitter. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so what that did is you see it did it by that. Okay, well, what if I want to just look at all Twitter cases? There we go. Okay, and as you see, it sorts everything, it filters everything below that same way. Cases by account, I can do the same thing. Oh, that's for Coho. Okay, I don't want that. I can kill that one. How about Fabricom? Okay, there's the case for them. I can open it up. And again, everything is on one page. We actually have real tabs again. There is almost no scrolling to this. As you can see, it's all just basically one thing. There is a built-in feature to this. There is a related entity section in the form. This is a totally separate form. And what it will do is it will actually give you a set of vertical tabs. So here I have recent cases and entitlements, but also have knowledge articles. And what we'll do, you put your related entities into this section, and it will actually show you, it will create this vertical tab system for you. Okay, the command bar is over on the right-hand side. It's context sensitive, so it will actually move things around depending on what you're doing, where you are. Okay, so that's a really cool thing. Go back to CRM now. Feedback. So if I go to samples entity I created. Gordon asks if there are any issues using the Microsoft Edge browser. Edge always has issues. They're always weird, and you never can tell. And mostly with CRM, no. I have problems with the Edge browser, period. That's just, maybe it's just my machine, maybe it's just me, short between the floor and the keyboard. I don't know. But there are issues, but I haven't really seen any with Edge that much. If all else fails, you can drop back to Internet Explorer just by saying, hey, open this in Internet Explorer. That works sometimes, or just go and use Chrome, one of the two. So we now have the feedback here. Again, I created this earlier, so I have a rating of 5 on my customer service experience. I can put in comments, and then I think there's an approval process here. Yeah, I can activate it. So it's kind of a way of basically having a 2-tier thing so people can submit feedback. I'm not 100% sure of the whole design on this, but it's in here. So I got a feeling this is version 1 of a larger process. Okay, mobile prep. So if I look at, again, my go and open the default solution, and what I'll end up if I'm on the main component level, assuming it ever comes there. Come on, you did. Again, this new button. So when I push that, it'll spend several minutes actually preparing customizations. And again, as far as I know, it just does a packet of stuff. Okay. If I go back to the dashboards and look at my organizational insights, I've got a feeling this is the beginning of something really, really cool for administrators. We always want to know what the heck are those users doing. Well, this is step 1 into that thing. So Here's my active users. I'm the most active because I'm the only one on here. See the users performing specific actions, update, reads, creates, deletes, total operations, total page requests. Are we opening forms? Are we looking at dashboards or running reports? Okay. 2 hours, 4 hours, 30 days. Okay. So quick there. At this point, I do not think this is modifiable. Again, because this is coming from special data. I may have accidentally found the special data. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything until I figure it out. But this is a really cool thing. Yeah, Kurt says great audit of the audit. Yep, sure is. And then I think the final thing I wanted to show you is going back to my sample here. Here is my customer lookup that I created. If I go down, as you can see, it's just showing, I think, accounts right there probably. Pick on lookup more records, and I can now toggle between account and contact. So again, doesn't seem like a big deal, but this keeps you from having two lookups, okay? And for any of you who've worked with CRM long enough, more than likely, sooner or later, you're going to have, man, I really wish I had the ability to pick a contact and account in the same lookup. And that's what that's for. Debbie, you say it says it needs to be enabled for what? I don't understand. What has to be enabled? The interactive dashboard? Oh, you mean the what that other thing? Yeah. So let's take a look at that real quick. If you go to settings, administration, and go into system settings. Again, any of the things that are in preview, which I noted, are under the previews tab. So first you have to check the box saying I agree to anything evil and bad Microsoft's going to do with my data, and that's fine. Task flows for mobile, organizational insights, Cortana for CRM. I just like saying the word Cortana. Cross-sell product recommendations. When you click that one, it's going to ask you some stuff about, you're going to connect to Azure. Yes, I do. And then finally, text analytics for case topic analysis. Okay, so these are currently the previews. They will slide in and out or on and off of the page as necessary. So what will happen is they'll be here in preview for weeks, months, whatever it might be, and then they'll come up with a new version and it will be a feature and disappear off of this. So this is always an ever-changing list. When it asks, of a tool to map all accounts by field service or by a field such as owner. Melinda, map as in map? As in Bing Map or Google Map? Yeah, Enagic has a package that does that. Meatloaf's looking kind of old. We're all looking kind of old. There we go, Maplytics. So they have a mapping thingy built in. So take a look at that. So there you go, the chat window. Okay, what other questions do we have today? Anybody? Oh, Annie asked me questions that I know the answer to. She said, any ideas about the roadmap for Yammer versus activity feeds? We just moved from 4.0 to 2015 online and are hesitating between Yammer and activity feeds. I don't have a great idea for that myself. Yammer was all hot to trot a couple years ago, and now I don't see anybody mentioning it at all. I know Microsoft uses it internally pretty heavily, and there is integration. It will show up if you have it configured, which you do somewhere. I can't even remember where it is. Synchronization, no. Somewhere in here, maybe it's down at the bottom here. There's a Yammer thing. Is there a Yammer? I can't remember. Somewhere there's a Yammer integration checkbox, I think, and it will show up in the social pane. Oops. Yeah, so it would show up here. I haven't had anybody even mention it lately. I don't know if anybody else has anything that would be great. Anybody? Kurt, nothing new on calculated fields. Didn't touch that at all. Yeah. Shrikant says yes. The Yammer is in settings. I've seen it. I don't know where it is, but yeah, you turned it on. I haven't seen anybody use it, quite honestly. But like I said, Microsoft uses it a lot internally because we get stuff on it all the time. But I personally don't use it. I hate to say it. It's just something else I have to pay attention to. And sometimes email is enough, even on Twitter. Pablo says Yammer replaces activities. Not necessarily. It's another tab, actually. Yeah, it's on the administration page. Yeah. Oh, down here. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So blah blah blah. Put your Yammer group in. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I don't have any personal experience with it. I don't work with any company that uses it, quite honestly. Yes, it replaces post on activities. Yeah, I can see that. I don't have anybody using post really either, quite honestly. That people just use activities. The post is there, it does auto magically, and that's fine. Okay. Oops, where am I? Srikant, anything new for developers? No, I kind of covered that. Basically, all we got is we got the what you call it, the deployment packager and customer field type. That's about it. Anything else? Nope. Okay. Well, hey, I really appreciate everybody stopping by today. And again, that workshop for processes ends next week. So if you want to sign up today, today is it. I really appreciate you coming. And if you want to see Power BI intro, we'll see you next week. As always, if you got any ideas for future webinars, then please drop me a line, Mitch at xrmcoaches.com. And we will talk to you next week.